I can't see a damn thing right now. Hi. Unfortunately, I got this done right as the series ended, so who knows if we're getting a season 2, but hey, in today's video, I'm gonna be making Miya's S jacket. I do not know if I'm going to complete this cosplay, but even before I started, my voice is so messed up right now, sorry. Even before I even watched the series, I knew once I first saw his outfit, I wanted that jacket so bad. Loved it. That's it. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh well, if you want to see how I made his jacket, stay tuned. So I got this pullover off Amazon. I got a size large, which is going to be a little bit oversized on me. However, I didn't get one that already has a zipper installed because one, it wouldn't be purple, which his zipper is bright purple, but two, I couldn't find the right color. The color just seemed everywhere else very off. This was the only one I could find that was like that perfect shade of green, and I'm really tired of dyeing stuff, so that's why I decided just to buy this. For his little hood drawstrings right here, I was gonna use a ribbon. You could also do a chain of yarn as well, which I've done both before. This time, I honestly, and so I don't waste this, I'm probably just gonna paint these purple. They're already in here. Let's just paint them very carefully. I'm gonna be cutting it right down the middle, and I got this bright purple. Oopsie. I think I got this a little bit too long. Oops. But I can use this bias tape, and that's gonna be the outlining or the lining of his pockets, which I can do that. I did the bias tape thing off camera just because I always have issues with bias tape and sewing them on and making them nice and neat, and also with fraying and such. I literally kind of just laid it down on the pocket and sewed along and just like cut as I was getting close to the edge. Kind of. It was pretty messy. To help with the fraying, I don't know how, other than folding it over a different way, you can stop the fraying, because I've also used fabric fusion on bias tape and it kind of bleeds through and makes it dark, and even as it dries it doesn't lighten back up. So I think I might just take some orange paint and just very carefully paint the edges so it does not fray. So remember how I was talking about the fraying on the bias tape earlier? Well, oop, just found out this is a thing. So hopefully it works. I don't know if I'm going to use it in this video, but just saying, this is out there. Found out Walmart. Might be my new best friend. For the hood, by the way, the zipper all installed here. Can you see it? All installed. It's great. Oh, get in there. The tips of these are actually yellow, but I don't want to paint them yellow, so I'm just leaving them green. Alright, I taped pieces of paper together. We're going to trace the shape of the hood, and then that's how I'm going to sketch on how the cat head, purple cat head, is going to look. Okay, your very, very rough sketch. I can always pin it to the hoodie, try it on, and see how it looks before any actual sewing happens. I did an oopsie because when I sketched it on, I basically kind of sketched it on like this on the paper, where in reality it should be more angled like that. I'm really stupid because this is now the third time I'm doing this. So I pinned this on here, and this part is like way too far back, and this part I already cut off a little bit. It was way too pointed. So maybe, you know, don't do what I do and just, you know, we're gonna be using the extra fabric I ruined and didn't do right as like stuffing for other stuff and future projects. So it's not gonna go to waste. Maybe from the start, just do this. Okay, I already actually sewed part of it, not the whole thing, on this hood. Really crude stitch marks. And I'm going to redraw this shit. So here's the original one. It was like this. And this was way too far back. So I'm gonna try to make it end off more. I'm gonna bring everything just a lot closer to the edge, which is probably what I should have done anyways. The original shape we have right here, other than making this tip way too pointed, it looked fine. All right, this already feels a lot better. So now I'm just gonna sew along the edge, of course. These scraps of the hood that I fucked up, I'm going to make really fat cat ears to put on here. I think it's fat enough. So we're gonna cut out 3 more pieces. I'll use this as a template. We're gonna put stuffing in here, or the extra fabric that I cut up. Here is one ear that I sewed on the inside. Now I'm just flipping it inside out like this. And what I did with the other one is I basically just placed it on a piece of fabric, kind of like puffed it out a little bit so with the general shape. And that's how I got this whole bottom piece. It's not going to be exact. Attaching it to the bottom, you will have a small opening to put the stuffing in. Here we have a bunch of the extra fabric that I completely messed up on. The finer you cut it up, the better it'll be, because I usually have a lot of scrap fabric, so I try to think of different ways to make like plushes and pillows and other crap. And the finer you can make the fabric, the better it's going to be, because obviously fabric is going to weigh more than the polyfill stuffing you buy at the store. So when you use mostly fabric or all fabric versus like a mixture of the polyfill and the fabric or only polyfill, it's just going to be a lot heavier, and it also won't be as soft. Finger is going to hurt from cutting it up quite a bit, but the finer you can make it, the better, especially if it's going to be a garment, so it's going to be a jacket, so you don't want to weigh you down that much. I mean, granted, it's not going to be that heavy, but still. And I have to slowly stuff it in, and that's kind of how you get this little guy right here. Hopefully that made sense. I mean, I would hope that most of you, if you're cosplaying, know how to make a basic triangle cat ear like this. Before I go back to the ears, I'm gonna start on the eyes, because once I have the eyes done, I can gauge better where to put the purple ears. Right here, I have my ironing board, my iron, some white fabric, and some heat and bond. We're essentially gonna make a little white patch. Could use paint, but I know it will be textured, and also layering up white paint on a dark fabric is just not I thought this might be the best. Make sure that the shiny textured side is touching the fabric, and then once they're connected, you can peel off the back paper layer, and then you can iron that on your piece, and yeah, essentially we're making a patch. Alright, since I have this kind of light base down, as you can tell, it's kind of see-through. That's just because the fabric I decided to use was the only white fabric I had. So, but now since I have more of a flat, better textured base than the purple fleece, I'm actually going to paint over this with white now. A little more flat, so it won't be as textured as if I were to just paint on the purple fleece. Plus, it already has been lightened up quite a bit because of this too, so it'll take less white paint layers. I literally just put on the hoodie, put up the hood, and, you know, place where I think the ears would look nice, and these little markers, little pins right here, this is where the front of the ears will go. The ears are on now. Now we can move on to the sleeves. Now I tried this on and got a marker and just kind of put a little line to where I want to cut off the sleeves. Plus we're going to also be rolling it up to get rid of the naked edge. I don't know. I basically put the line right at my elbow. Part of the sleeve that I cut off, I'm just going to move over to the other side, make it even. Roll this up, pin it, and then sew along that line. All right, time to start on the tail. Long piece of purple fabric, I'm just gonna sketch out. I will not be attaching this permanently to the jacket. I wouldn't have the option to put it on or take it off whenever. So I'm literally just gonna make tail and sew it up and make it like the ears. And then I'm gonna safety pin it from the inside of the jacket. Alright, I think I'm gonna make this part a little bit smaller, but then, you know, just gonna sew along the edges, flip it inside out, and then we're gonna stuff it full of stuffing, aka scrap fabric. So I just got the last piece of the cosplay in the mail. Got this fabric, obviously. Now, looking at reference photos, these stripes to me look magenta and like a navy, really dark navy blue. However, going on the wiki page, it says it's magenta and purple. Finding either of those two colors with magenta stripe pattern is, I've found, kind of difficult. So I just stuck with black and magenta. I feel like it's fine. It's fine. I don't think anyone's really looking that deep into the colors, maybe. Unfortunately, I mostly just chose the fabric that looked most like his outfit, not so much feel, because the website I got it from was Mood Fabrics, and they didn't have too many options, or at least there were some other options, but they were more so like pink, not magenta. A lot more like baby pink side, neon pink side. It wasn't an exact pink, so this was the only like thing that looked the most presentable. And it is striped polyester taffeta. Not the most pleasant fabric to use if you're using it for like a top or a jacket. More so feels like something you'd use for like a tablecloth or maybe even a skirt. But this is what we got. We're gonna use it. I am using one of my long sleeve shirts. I chose this one because it's pretty straight, unlike, you know, like this jacket. It kind of tapers down and it gets smaller the closer it gets to my wrist. This one is kind of just a straight line, which is more what I want. So I will be using this as a template and obviously giving some, like a half an inch, well, I hand sew. If you're using a sewing machine, maybe an inch of seam allowance. I hand sew, so I'll just stick with like a half an inch of seam allowance. Trace it on the folds, and so I don't have to worry about sewing up, or I'm gonna fold, you know, fold it, and so I don't have to worry about having to sew one side. Before I actually do any sewing, I'm actually going to iron the sleeves out so they're nice and not crinkly looking. Here's what I have on the sleeves so far. This is still, I need to flip it inside out. I will cut off quite a bit because like the sleeve on my shirt kind of goes that up like baseball kind of shirt pattern bit off. So this up here will be cut. I folded over both the edges because I actually plan on using safety pins to pin it inside the jacket. I don't want to fully sew it on there, and for whatever reason I'm just not committed to sewing it on. So we're just gonna use safety pins. Fold it over so I don't have to worry about fraying. After I, you know, sewed along this seam, I basically flipped both those seams over, as you can see on here, and so it doesn't fray. Hopefully I explained that sort of semi well. And I'm probably gonna iron this part down a little bit because it's a little bit crinkly. So now I'm gonna sew up this one right here, and then I'll pin it to the jacket, and I think we're done with the jacket, and I'll show you guys what everything looks like put together. Here is the finished jacket. I always think I'm a lot bigger than I actually am. So I mentioned in the beginning of the video that I got a size large pullover because I wanted something oversized or not as, you know, tight fitting on me. In reality, I probably should have gotten a medium because the sides, I mean, I like baggy, but there are times, especially for cosplay, where I'm like, okay, this is a little too much. I mean, I love baggy for everyday stuff, so I might pinch or sew a little bit on the side so it's a little bit more like pretty baggy right now, just a little more form-fitting. I mean, the half sleeves are fine, but the body just needs a little bit more shape. The ears aren't heavy, but obviously because there is a little bit more weight on top, it does, especially when I tried it on the other day, without my, you know, beanie on, it does want to slide down a little bit, so just keep that in mind. If you use all polyfill, it would probably be a lot lighter. And the tail, yeah, I honestly forget that it's on here. It's so light I don't even notice it. And I also mentioned too how for the striped sleeves the fabric wasn't that comfortable for like a style of shirt, but now since I have it on, I mean, like I mentioned, it's not fully connected to the jacket. I just safety pin it on. Now since I have it on, it's really not that uncomfortable. It just wasn't, it's not like a cotton t-shirt or something like that, but it's not uncomfortable at all. If anything, I can tell that if I were to wear it to a con, it's kind of fabric that wouldn't make me overheat. I made the jacket. It's done with now. Other than the sizing of the jacket, but for the most part, it's fine. It was good. It's good. it's nice. Anyways, if you guys want to do a Miya's S outfit cosplay, hopefully this helped you a little bit. And anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you all next time.